A witch and a wizard fixed me from an unbelievable amount of pain yesterday. And I guess really I need to give you some context to this story. So it hasn't all been rainbows and butterflies since I arrived in Bali 2 weeks ago. Actually, within the first week, I was in a really, really serious incident involving two peds, so mopeds, and a truck or a van. 4 of us ended up in hospital, and that's another story. However, I ended up with some serious gashes, bruises, some of which you can still see now, and a really, really, really sore back. I kept saying it was sprained. I never really got any, conclusion from the hospital, but really I had to lie down, like I had a concussion because my head was open. Anyway, again, another story. Back to the witch and the wizard. Yesterday I was lying in a spa in Bali, and I treated myself to a facial. This lovely woman was putting, blood, sweat and tears into it, and I just could not calm myself down. I was absolutely, and I mean absolutely petrified. I was running away with a spoon that had all of this stuff going wrong with me, that I had a bleed in the brain, that I needed to go back to hospital immediately. I couldn't calm myself down. I'm writing, bad news stories in my head. None of this is facts, right? So I think sometimes when we tell ourselves something, or it's in our head and we can't shut those thoughts down, we assume that it's correct, and it just isn't. Just because we think it doesn't make it true. Normally I'm good at catching myself with this and helping others too as well, but I just couldn't yesterday. I felt physically sick. Then I don't know if you've been in an accident that's quite serious before, but any glitch in the matrix of your body and how you feel, you start completely overanalyzing it. And as humans, I think we have to give reasons for everything. So it can't just be that you had a little squirm, or that my finger just felt a bit funny. I have to give it a reason that is to do with brain damage, or that it's not. I'm about to be paralysed because I'm going to put my back out further. And as I'm lying there, I just can't shut up my thoughts, and I felt so guilty because the woman was just so lovely. And I knew I had to lie down for another 20 minutes, and I literally had to cut it short. There'll be a reason for me telling you all this. My hands were going numb, tingling. My feet had pins and needles. I thought perhaps it was the way that I was lying, maybe. Anyway, I got up, and my way of coping with things is to walk it off. I have to walk, and it's almost like walking is a meditation for me. It can really help me give a rhythm of being able to catch my breath again and be stimulated by something else other than my thoughts. The worst thing in the world for someone like me is to sit and try and still them. I've never been able to master that, maybe in the future. And so, so where were we with the, witch and wizard. So while I was lying there, really, really, really terrified and petrified, in my head, I remember saying, although it sounds really cheesy, someone, angels, I need your help. I really need your help. Help me get out of this. I just don't know what to do anymore. I was in 2 minds whether to go to hospital or not. And I knew going to hospital would mean something like a CAT scan. They're going to check, my brain. I don't know. Again, I'm writing all these bad news stories and trying to give myself solutions for something that I just don't have the solution for. And then I just decided just to continue walking just for a little bit more. And in my head, I'm like, okay, go back to the hotel, get yourself in a semi-safe environment. It's somewhere that you know. Relax, maybe even try and take a nap, and then if you still feel funny, that's when we go. We'll just get a taxi straight to the hospital, and we'll just get some peace of mind. Anyway, on the way there, I remember laughing because I saw this sign, it said therapy, and I was like, maybe that's what I need. And then I'm someone that loves to walk. I think you've maybe gotten that by now. And in London, I would always walk down little side streets just to be on an adventure and see something that I hadn't seen before. And I saw these disco lights, so we're getting into dusk, the sunset, but it's still got that dew in the sky. So I see these disco lights on the floor and this sort of alleyway thing. I mean, it didn't look exactly like the safest alleyway in the world, but I could see the disco lights, and I was like, I wonder if that's a really cool coffee shop or a bar. And I was like, I'm going to go wander and have a look. And then I saw the word art in front of it, and it was very shallow in depth with these inviting stairs with a red carpet. And I just walked right in there, like confident as hell. And then it was like as if it was like like royals. So there's a man and a woman sitting there with these beaming smiles, and they just start giggling. And then I walk around and said, "Oh, is it an art shop?" And then they both just kept saying to me, "Therapy, therapy." And I said, "What is going on?" I looked around and started to get freaked out because there's like wheelchairs and bits and pieces, like boxes, glass boxes with like wires everywhere. It looked like a laboratory, but like in a 70s antique roadshow workshop. It was wild. I could smell everything, like it was incense. It had like a red carpet. There was like UV lamps in different parts of the room. And again, it's like rectangle, quite slender in depth. And behind them both, I just said, like, "Oh, what is it?" And there was a picture of like a human body with all of these sticks coming out of it. And I went, "I wonder if it's like an acupuncture place." And then the man said, "You need to come and lie down now." And I said, No. He said, "You need to come and lie down." He says, because he could see I was holding my back. He says, "Lie down." He says, "It's therapy." And I was like, and then I don't know what came over me, but I just trusted these two individuals for no reason. It was like a red, like, the only way I hate when I keep saying like, though, like a 70s bed, like red carpet on the bed, like quite hard, and on one pillow, and wires everywhere. And the last thought that went through my head before I let them put a finger on me was just, I don't know why, but I really trust these two. And I used a bit of Google Translate to say, "I've been in a moped accident." I said, "My back is hurting." And I said, "We can try therapy, but if it starts to hurt, we have to stop straight away." And they both just laughed and was like, "Yes, okay, we know." Anyway, about an hour later, cured. And not only that, but I had other injuries. It wasn't just my back. So as I said, then my head was cracked open. My arm was really sore. This finger here, and then this finger here. Sorry, and then my middle finger here were funny. I had a really, really bad wonky ankle on this foot, and my knee on the other side was sore. And that's not talking about the cuts and grazes. And I didn't tell them about any of this, and they just went there straight away with this. It was like electric, like, you know those pads you wear when you want to get a six-pack for cheating, and you stick it on you. It was like that, and then they had different utensils. They worked together as a team. So the lady would come in with like this muscle prep stuff, I guess, to cool me down, and then it was like Tiger Balm to heat it up. She would massage it, then he would come in and put the stuff on and move it around. Then he had like a stick. Anyway, at the end of it, I was dumbfounded. I could not believe that I could stand up and move my way side to side and bend down and stand up. Like, it was witchcraft. That's why I'm calling them a witch and a wizard, in a great way, angels. And I asked him, like, through Google Translate, like, "Can you tell me what you think it was?" And he's like, "Yes." He said, you damaged a nerve in your back, and that nerve is attached to different parts of you. And he says, "You hurt your ankle," and on. Then they asked me to sit there and have coffee with them. A Balinese coffee, and they put omega-3 in it. I'm not sure why I needed omega-3, but they did. And at the end of it, I said, "What do I owe you?" And they said, "Whatever you want to pay us." Oh, it's beautiful. I guess, a massive part of this story as well. That's me just, free falling into this storytelling on YouTube. But before that, at the point where I was asking for angels, I'd just been to, or angels help, or help from something or someone. I'd just been to a restaurant over here called the Village Global Community Cafe. I'd found it because it's a non-profit restaurant that supports disabled and deaf people in Bali. And all the staff that work there are disabled or deaf. And as I was lying in the chair towards the end, I looked up, and the wheelchair in front of me is from exactly that organisation. And it just felt like, maybe I'm just making it something in my head, but it really felt like a sign, like, maybe if you do ask for help, it comes. So yeah, that's my story for now. Over and out.